Denmark, as some of you know, is part of Scandinavia, but we don't have any mountains. People always say, oh, I want to go to Denmark and enjoy your mountains. And I have to, sadly say we don't have mountains, and the weather is really bad. It rains too much, and it's very dark in the winter. But in Denmark, we have the fresh air. That is good. We're always close to the sea. And sometimes we get too much water, and that creates flooding. We've always had flooding in Denmark. This is the city of Vejle. I actually lived there for 2.5 years. It's a beautiful small town with the waves, and it also has the yelling stones from the Viking age some 1,000 years ago, and now a UNESCO heritage site. The city is growing, and it has some challenges in the growth, how to keep urban space and economic sense for the people. It's the 6th largest municipality in Denmark, and it's also part of the big triangle cluster between Fredericia and Kolding. Some of the threats are from sea levels, increasing rainfall, and flooding, and also the whole urbanization, how you structure a city to accommodate with more people. The flooding in Vejle has been measured for many years, since the 19th century, and I think they have occurred every 5 years or something, but nowadays they occur 1 to 2 times a year. So there has been quite a dramatic increase in the flooding in the city. This is a picture of Vejle from 1947 and 2007, taken from the same spot. Vejle has been working together with the utility to come up with new tools and technologies, how to regulate the stream into Vejle when there is a flooding. And flooding occurs, I guess, if there is a storm, then the sea level will automatically increase, and that will create a flooding. It can also be from a heavy rainfall, or simply just the rivers overflowing. And also because there's a lot of hills in Vejle, that is also dramatically changing or putting water down to the downtown Vejle. This is a new urban space in Vejle where they have created a sluice and a pump station. I think something like 170 cubic meters in an hour can be distributed away from Vejle. And it has also created new space, a new open area. So basically, you want to have a big catchment area there's about 330 square kilometer of catchment area. So it's all about delaying the water before it comes down. And you have to take into account the nature, not to modify that too much. This is some pictures from an actual flooding in Vejle. You have the rescue team out, but of course they will normally just go at the public places. They don't have time to go into each individual private basement. So there's still a lot that the private person has to do when there's a flooding. If you don't know, Denmark is a welfare state. What does that mean? It means that the state usually takes care of us. We pay a high tax and we get a lot of services. So to come up and do things ourselves like this and prepare flooding, maybe we're not so used to that. We're used to that there's somewhere somebody you can call for help. But if 100,000 inhabitants experience a flooding in one day, how can they be helped? That means citizens, they have to activate themselves. They have to form communities, they have to learn from each other. They have to maybe download an app. There's an app now in Vejle you can download so you can see the forecast, and you can even do a quiz to find out, are you prepared for the flooding and what is it that you have to do. This is a new project called the Fjord City, or Fjordbyen, which is even preparing Vejle again for the future, for the next 100-year flooding. It has some climate efforts in the flood protection and also a cloud burst and separate sewer system. This is one part of the district, East City district, which get a lot of water from the hills. And this is animation, and I'm sure there are some intelligent engineers have made this picture, but as we heard before, how can you predict something in 2050 on Mother Nature? I don't think you can see it as a science fact, but you can see the trend, which way are we going and what do we have to do and how do we react to that. And obviously there's a lot of, maybe half the city flooded by that time. If you go further in 2100 and you have a water level 2.44 meters, then what happens? Then all the city is flooded. What do you then do? Then you can, build your dam and your slush, but I don't think it will be enough. The last slide I want to show you is animation from Vejle. What will happen in 2050? This is how it looks like. So you have, again, many buildings flooded. So again, I don't have any solutions for you on the climate, but I think we each need to think about what we can do. We might think we can do nothing, but if we all have the same idea, then we can work hard to make a difference. Thank you very much. Kamsahamnida.